Hey guys, this is Shane and welcome to my Curator of the Lost channel. Today, hey, it's like confessions of a bad bookseller on lost books and inventory control. It happens to all of us. It's just happened to me twice in the last month. It's embarrassing. It feels like a missed sale. And to be honest, in some cases, it can be a mystery of how it even happens. But we're going to talk about inventory control, do my confession of the bad bookseller, and then talk about what I'm going to do to fix the problem. So, hey, before we jump into all that, I want to say thanks. Thanks for the channel support, the views, comments. I look forward to your perspective on this challenge, and if you experience it, and when it does happen, when you lose a book in your inventory and you go searching through the mass and you don't find it, it is so frustrating. So I'm sure it's a common frustration with people if it happens to you. And if it hasn't happened to you, I'm thankful for you that it hasn't. I guess you sell books long enough, it will happen. So I look forward to your perspective. So, hey, let's jump in. So inventory control is something that people ask about sometimes, and I'll get into it, but I have a simple inventory control system. But my confessions of a bad bookseller is that I have lost 2 books in the last month. They're good sales. They were $20, $30 books. I go to pull them. I can't find them. And in the listing, I have an ID code that tells me which shelf to go to in my inventory control. And the books are just not there. Now, the one that happened to about a month ago, I believe what happened is that I had cycled through some of my inventory thinking, on my eBay inventory thinking, hey, what are some of these that I could probably send into Amazon better? And I believe that I had pulled that and sent it into Amazon and not stopped the listing on eBay. It actually sold on Amazon too. So I think that's what happened, but I'm not 100% sure. This latest one, I can't find it. I know I didn't send it into Amazon. I can't remember. I guess you can only go through your sold items so far back. I guess if I had better records on exact items that it sold on eBay, I could, but I just can't find it. I don't know what happened to it. I remember the book because it was on the history of a church. And it, kind of that genealogy and township history. It's kind of stuff I like to sell, but I can't find it. And it just frustrates the stew out of me. So I guess first off, I'll tell you how I do things. I've done a video on this in the past, but I have a very simple inventory system, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and do to stop this from happening, because once every long while is something, but if it happens, twice in a month, that's a systemic problem I've got to fix. So on my shelves, what's behind me is what I do now. People have asked, are all these things for sale? This top shelf here, these are books and items that are just my collection stuff, as are here in these 3 shelves. All the other shelves on this case are books for sale, and I've got the lower shelves down here. So what I do is I simply just put in a SKU number. It's basically your lookup ID. I just put the letter code shelf A, shelf B, shelf C, D, and so on. And then it picks up over here, it picks up with G, H, and I've got some other shelves that, in the other part of the room here. So simply with that code, I don't number the books on the shelf, but with that code, I know that I can usually, quite easily, go to shelf. If it sells and it says, SKU A, I can come to this shelf and it's going to be on this shelf. Now, I've got to, search through these and find it, or search through, but, there's only 30 books or 40 books there, and it's pretty easy to find. It's a very simple first level inventory system, right? And you can do this with bins. It's very common. I've done a video on this, with other people doing videos on it, but it's very, very common to just, you take some parcel bit of real estate and you assign a letter or a number to it, and you can go to that. Now, for books, I do not try to keep the books in line. So A1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because when I sell, it gaps, and I had to put it back. I just don't worry about that. It's just, this has worked for me. A very simple shelf letter code in your listing, or on eBay, there's I usually put it in the title so I can see it. You don't even have to do that. You can, there's a custom SKU line in the listing where you can put your shelf ID on it. That's worked for me, except for the last month. So what am I going to do about this? So in my mind, it shows, I'm selling, I'm turning over a lot of books. I'm sending stuff to Amazon. I've sold quite a bit of stuff on eBay the last few months, and my inventory's down into the 500s, but I'm getting caught back up, and I'll push that number back up to probably 700 to 800 on eBay is my goal. And then, I've got, 250, 300 things at Amazon. So floating around, 1,000 books in and out, and you're selling stuff all the time, it's easy to lose something. So what I've got to do to just get my inventory to make sure is the only thing I know to do is just to bite the bullet. So I'm going to go through on eBay. I'm going to take each shelf, and I'm going to pull the book out, and I'm going to go type that in and go to my active listings and type it in and make sure that the book is there, and that it is in the right spot. And then as I go through those active listings, I have to take up my master list of active listings and check that book off of the active sheet and see, do I have listings that are active that I don't have the book? So there's multiple things that can happen. Either I don't have the book, it's sold or whatever, or I've got it mislabeled in the listing. The only thing I know to do is just to take an afternoon and just go through this. When it happens, it just stinks. And it's important, I think, on, when you're selling, to take the time up front when you are listing, to try. A mistake early costs you a lot of heartache later. That's what's happened to me. So anyway, like I said, if you have this problem, you're not alone. Again, confession of a bad bookseller. It happens to all of us. And sometimes you just got to go through. At the same time I go through and check these, I'm going to take the opportunity to go through the old stock, things that have been there for a while. The infamous Volkswagen book that I did a video on that had been out there for like 3 years, and I'd taken it down to $9.99. That sucker still hadn't sold, so I'm just punting. It was going to be like this. I know where it is, because hold on, I'll find it. It's I stick it right here on the corner. This is the book, and I know where it's at because I've kept my eye on this one. This one's fixing to go. So anyway, when I go through and check all my listings and check my master listings, I'm going to do a culling. Sometimes you have to do that too for shelf space, things that you just were wrong on. So that's it. Confessions of a bad bookseller. I wish I could say I was perfect. My wife will tell you that's not the case. I do make a mistake once a year, twice a year. I guess these two books are my two. So anyway, hopefully you haven't had this problem. If you've got ideas, share them with the crowd. And I'm by no means have the right way. I have a simple way to take care of my stock, and it's traditionally worked for me. But when it goes afoul, you just have to bite the bullet and go through it. So anyway, see cool, buy cool. Talk to you soon. Bye.